Alright, you guys, so here's the deal. Javi is gone. I actually now have a 2018 Elantra due to multiple reasons. I'll tell you what they are. But everybody, meet Oliver. So essentially, here's what happened. So my suspension on my Hyundai Elantra 2015 was making a real ton of racket. It was to the point where even the customers in my Lyft queue were complaining about it, and it got to the point where I took it to the dealership 3 times and they were unable to replicate the problem, quote unquote. So as I was driving yesterday, because I bought the car yesterday, I was driving on the highway and the steering wheel started shaking and the suspension started making noise again. And I'm like, oh my God. So literally what I did was I went to another dealership, traded in Javi, and got Oliver. And now I'm actually very happy. For one, this car drives 10 times better. It's a lot smoother. The transmission on this is a heck more responsive in terms of how it shifts. And this is the 6-speed auto. This still has the torque converter. I was opting for the 7-speed dual clutch, but then again, I was also thinking about the fact that I creep a lot in traffic, so it wasn't exactly a good investment. But basically, this vehicle is actually 10 times better. It drives so much smoother, and the gas mileage is actually a lot better as well. I just drove out to Prim, so basically that's about a 40 to 45 mile drive, and even with the engine this new, since it only has now 101 miles, I'm still between 3/4 and a full tank. So essentially, it is a good car in terms of gas mileage, and also too, the suspension is extraordinarily quiet. Now, some things I did notice that I'm missing on this one that I had on Javi, the turn signal, if I were to like flick it, oh, it actually does, never mind. Thought I was missing that, but I am missing the auto up feature on the door, but that's something that's actually not really a big deal to me. In terms of the responsiveness, the car is definitely very similar to that of my 2015. However, due to the transmission being more responsive and basically the bigger engine displacement, I'm able to get more out of this engine than I am on the 2015. I also come equipped with knee airbags. So basically, if I were to crash, I would have protection from the steering wheel and also from the lower dash, I guess. So I do have knee airbags in this car. Now, in terms of the storage, it's actually a little bit less than my 2015. However, this compartment actually opens, and it literally is kind of cool. So like now it's open, but then if I were to press it here, hang on. That's kind of wicked. It closes by itself. I don't know why I find that so fun, but I'm just like, dude, I saw that and I was like, what? This is awesome. So the interior is still kind of cheap in this vehicle, but it's a little bit better than that of the previous model. The door panels are still made of slight hard touch materials, but the seats are actually 10 times more comfortable. And again, with the ride quality, the car just drives 10 times better. Also too, it did come with tinted windows, so basically now, I don't have to worry about getting the windows tinted again. Now, I do need to go and get the warranty on the other car prorated, so basically, I'm not going to be upside down on the car loan. So this is kind of how it panned out. So I go to the other dealership and they're like, wow, you take really good care of your car. Like, this thing looks really nice. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, oh, you don't know what's happening. So essentially they gave me like 10 grand for it. And then they gave me a rebate for Black Friday. And so I got a 2018 and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, this is really cool. And then so when I drove it, I was like, you know, I'm not in love. And then I drove it again and I was like, you know, actually this is really nice. Like, Hyundai's definitely come a long way in terms of restyling their vehicles. And, you know, it's one thing to get one bad car. I'm hoping I didn't get 2 of them. But this one, I think, is just 10 times better in terms of how it drives. It does come equipped with Apple CarPlay as well. So when I plug in my phone, I definitely don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about, you know, using navigation on my phone. I can do it from the screen, so on and so forth. The infotainment system's a lot bigger. Now, the controls are pretty basic, and they look relatively similar to the Sonata I drove a few years ago. And, you know, it's not really a big deal for me. This is the SEL model, so it's not exactly the midline trim or anything like that. It's nothing special. It did come with alloy wheels, however. I definitely needed my alloy wheels. I told them that I would not accept anything less. And essentially, I'm really happy that the fuel gauge and the temperature gauge are now analog again. Granted, do I miss the old blue gauges? Absolutely. I definitely like those a lot better. But this is something I can live with, considering the fact that I have more to play with, and I can also check and see, you know, my mileage, how fast I'm going, etc. from the steering wheel. So definitely something that I'm fond of, and overall it's something that, you know, I wasn't expecting it, but it was meant to happen. Like I caught somebody at the right time, and it just kind of happened. So basically, I'm glad that I got this car, because again, now I have more to do with it, and ultimately I'm not going to run into so many problems. At least, good Lord willing, I'm not. And this dealership actually seemed to be a lot more responsive to my needs, because I initially well, it was funny. I went in and told them that there was a slight suspension groan, and that, you know, I just wanted them to check it out, and they said they would make an appointment. Well, I ended up buying a car from them, so basically they were pretty happy about that. Now, in terms of the handling is 10 times better. The car definitely feels a little bit heavier, and it feels like it's more planted. I'm not sure if this has the solid rear axle like the older one does. However, it definitely shows that this car was more refined, due to the fact that I could hit a bump and it doesn't feel like the suspension is going to come out from under me. So essentially, it's something that I'm really fond of, because again, I was having that problem with my 2015 Elantra. So with that, this car does also come with blind spot monitoring. That was the only option they gave me on the vehicle. I could have opted for the lane assist, so on and so forth, but here's the deal. I don't like it. When I test drove that 2018 Subaru Forester, and then I test drove the Nissan Nissan Rogue with it, it honestly is a little scary. I'm sorry, not a Nissan Rogue. It was a Toyota Corolla. But it kind of scares me, because the thing is I don't necessarily want my steering wheel to be moving in order to correct me into the lane. And on top of that, what if the alignment's off? It's definitely going to be having some problems there as well. So essentially, am I happy with my purchase? Absolutely. It's one of those things where I know I bought a car a year later, and I would have been upside down on the loan. However, it just happened to pan out to where I got the rebate, the loan, everything paid off in time. So I'm not really going to complain there. So are my payments higher? Oh yeah. But does my insurance go down? Oh yeah. So essentially, I'm not really missing out much. So guys, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, but I will go ahead and contact you all later. This is Oliver.